I think they have a huge contribution to make. If you see the number of climate-related disaster events and the proposition that these insurance companies can make to absorb the losses, but also to manage the risk, I think it's incredible. It will be sending the right signals on how to consider these events that are being increased by the time, and also to reduce the risks that are related to it. It's not only about the insurance companies, but the financial sector in itself needs to align for the construction of a low-carbon economy. So there is a lot of contributions that they can be doing in this respect. Let me also touch upon the fact that institutional investors, including insurance companies, have the second largest asset pool, 28 trillion, we said in the inauguration of the event. And if we manage to get some of those funds to invest in low-carbon infrastructure, I think we would really be aligning all these policies to build a low-carbon economy going forward. I think they have such an important role. We have been hearing him. We just heard some of the actors in these markets. If the regulations are not right, if the market signals are not right, funds are not going to flow to these investments. The reality is that the risk aversion in the financial sector are preventing from investors just to get into these assets. But on the other hand, it's also true that there is a misalignment in terms of what they are looking in the short term and the investment that the economy needs to make for the long term in building a clean infrastructure. So the reality is that the regulations, the regulatory framework, the policies, the signals that governments send for the investors to chip into these sectors is pretty important. Governments create the enable environments. Governments create the certainty, and we have been hearing that. Investors are telling us, give me certainty, give me clear signals, give me the framework in which I can make my decisions to go into these markets. So I think it's a very important role, and we're coming to that understanding by having these conversations together, and also by building partnership between the public and the private to have this channeling of funds. We are an evidence-based organization, so we have been leading in terms of documenting and trying to explain to the world what the challenges are in building up a low-carbon economy, what needs to be done in terms of fulfilling the path that the global community have defined to achieve a 2 degrees centigrade emission going forward. The main message that the organization has sent to these negotiations is that we really need to go for aligning all the sets of policies that we are building out in infrastructure, in the insurance sector, in the financial markets, in the whole economy, and the economy as a whole, to really move and shift the growth perspective into a low-carbon economy. And in this area, talking about the financial sector, which is the conveyor belt of the whole economy that would really help to underpin the green investments that are necessary, the green bonds, the green banks, the green financing, is all the more important, and we're also working on that. So it's in all the areas, but we think that there needs to be a coherence and convergence of policies, not to do with one hand and not do it with the other hand. It really needs to be clear certainty in the regulatory framework, and that's where the OECD has a very strong contribution to make.